How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid. It had quite the pullback on the Friday. I know I've been getting a lot of flack saying, Dre, you say that you're rubbing your hands in that corner like Birdman waiting for Lucid to fall below $20. And you know what? I'm going to continue to do so because I see weakness in these markets. We'll talk about it further. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know I got timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $22.92, being down 5.33%. On the low, it tested $22.81, and then on the high, testing $24.23. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 18.825 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 32.266 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, and with the volatility we have in these markets, we ended up seeing a pullback. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 38.71. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 100-day, the 50-day, the 200-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So one thing we noticed right away, and I've talked about this in previous videos, Lucid is trading below all of our major moving averages, so it continues to be in a bear market. And on the Friday, since we did have a pullback and we tested a low of 22.81, for this coming week, don't be shocked if we end up breaking through this level here right around $21.85. And then the next level after that breaks, you'd want to see if it could hold up, will be right here around 21.19. And breaking through 21.19, that's where I could see the stock going below $20. If you're looking for a bullish reversal now, then Lucid has to come back above 25 and then reach the 21-day EMA at 25.85. And we also know how key this area is over here at $27.50, because the moment it is able to get above this level, then we can start testing the 200-day, which is at $29.87, and we know $30 is a psychological area for this stock. So that's why I say you want to keep an eye on this play, but for this coming week, I see a lot more downside pressure. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent short interest information for Lucid. So for the off-exchange short volume ratio, it's at 65.15%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 4.40 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 500,000, updated 16 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 20.46%, with a max on the day on Friday at 30.53%, and this was last updated 16 minutes ago. And then when we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 10th, it was at 57.42. And then for the close of the 11th, it is at 65.15. So that is a significant increase there. And that's the highest it's been since we've been taking recordings back on February the 28th. So this is why you want to continue to keep Lucid on your watch list and why it continues to have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we see on the inflow, it's at 67.67, and then on the outflow, it is at 110. Keep in mind these numbers in the millions, and it's clear that we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 36.30, and then on the small, it was 31.37. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 13.09, and then on the medium, being at 56.1. Taking a look at the small, it was at 40.58. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for the Friday that passed on March the 11th, we had that outflow of 13.09 million. Wow. And we could see as far as for March the 9th though, we did have an inflow at 13.46 million. So when we take a look at the past 5 trading days, one thing that is clear, we did see mainly outflow days. But again, you could tell the sentiment is fairly mixed. And when we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 1.14%. So not too bad, and continues to be a consistent range for Lucid. So what this means, yes, there are many who are holding on to their positions, but we are seeing a good amount of selling pressure on both sides. So that's why for this coming week, there's a high probability this could continue, and this is why I do these videos, to keep you guys inside of the loop. So let's jump into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, when it comes to the price action, I know many of you are looking forward to this because you guys say, Dre, give us those levels to look out for. We've been making some serious bank. So what we need to look at is the downside. If we see weakness below $21.85, that's where essentially I'm going to look for that pullback for us to go below $20. Very possible due to the fact of the conditions we have inside of the market, and I do know this does provide an opportunity, especially if you are looking at puts. Now, as far as for a reversal, if you want to see some strength inside of Lucid, it needs to hold up support above $25. Remember when I was saying that was a resistance level, because if it keeps failing, it will pull back, and that's where you could take advantage of puts. Well, that's where you want to see some strength. And then essentially afterwards, you want to see a move going to $27.50, and then that psychological area right at $30. I myself personally, I am not seeing this for the coming week. Of course, I could be wrong, but those are just some levels that you want to look out for. Also understand, we do have a volatile week that is coming up. We have the Fed meeting that's going to be happening on Wednesday and as well going into Thursday. Plus, on top of that, we have the quad witching coming down on the Friday. So again, this is why it is very key that you have a strategy in place so you could be on the winning side of your trades. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we can see institutions do continue to load up on shares. Plus, on top of that, Lucid does have short squeeze potential. And as far as for the short interest and it continuing to go up, I'm not surprised. We know Lucid is not a profitable company, and when you're trading in the tech sector, if you haven't reached that level as of yet, it's going to be pretty negative in regards to sentiment. So a lot of those stocks are going to get beaten down. But the moment we have a turnaround inside of the tech sector, we know Lucid will begin to move up since it is in the NASDAQ 100. So again, add that to your homework. Add it to your due diligence. You want to make sure that you are following the trend. There's no need to go against the trend, especially in the choppy markets that we are in. And if you are watching my videos, even though they're not financial advice, it should put you ahead of the game, and you should have an advantage over a lot of traders. And if you want to join us inside of the Discord, we'll be happy to have you a part of the family. We've traded many stocks outside of Lucid, and we've been seeing a lot of success. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how Lucid performs for this coming week. We'll be talking real soon.